Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from Esports, bringing you another StarCraft 2 1v1 cast today. Awesome. Our map is Metalopolis. This is the North American servers, and I'm feeling good today. Excellent. So, in the bottom side, I suppose, or bottom, we have our red Protoss, who is Grack, who could be a very interesting person, but we'll get to that point in a minute. And then on the left we have our blue Protoss, who is ONEwbc, and that WBC, by the way, stands for Wanna Be Cool. Awesome. Okay, so as always, a little bit of trivia about both our players today. WBC GG'd early at MLG 2011, and that caused quite a bit of an outburst indeed. He also got to the 21st rank in MLG Anaheim 2011 as well, so that's very good. He is a Korean player as well, so he is one to watch, definitely. And back to Grack and the point I was making earlier. Now, Grack is actually one of Idra's aliases, and if you don't know who Idra is, he's a very, very high-level Zerg indeed. Wow, and we do have a double gas steal coming down from WBC right here, which is a very unusual play indeed. I'm not sure what Grack will actually make of it. But yes, Grack is one of Idra's aliases, as it were. But that does not, of course, necessarily say that this is Idra that we're watching, because I know from interviews that I've seen with Idra that he is not the biggest fan of the Protoss race. So, I mean, would it be hypocritical if he was to be playing Protoss? Maybe, who knows. But yeah, if you don't know who Idra is, you should definitely check him out. He's a really, really good player indeed. And we do see ONEwbc actually taking quite a lot of his opponent's stuff. Oh, look at him, the cheeky bastard. He is just mining minerals, then gas, then minerals, then gas. Just being disruptive indeed. And that will be very disruptive, of course. So, I mean, Grack at the moment has very much been pushed into having to get some more zealots out, rather than actually going down his tech route, which most Protoss would usually be pursuing at this point in time. Generally, because there has been a double gas steal, which you don't often see, because obviously, being 75 minerals each, these equate to being 150 minerals, which is about as much as a gateway is worth. Cybernetics core, well, it isn't about as much, it is as much as a gateway is worth, and a cybernetics core as well. So you have to wonder whether or not it's actually a good thing if WBC actually nicks the extractors as well. Sorry about that, guys, a little bit distracted all of a sudden. Okay, so we do have a small plethora of zealots attacking. Whoa, a third gas steal as well from WBC. He really, really does not want his opponent to get gas. My best guess is that he'll be going for the Stalkers and trying to get in there with Stalkers and try and be able to kite his opponent's zealots about the map. But I mean, Grack at the moment does have a lot of zealots, so it's yet to be seen whether or not one Stalker can kite this many zealots, it has to be said. But an extremely harassing and aggressive play from ONEwbc at the moment, and actually it's the first time that I've ever seen it. It's really, really interesting indeed, but we do have Grack taking it to his opponent, just going to be aggressive as all hell. And these zealots sprinting past the Stalker, they look like they're pissed, they're ready to go, they're going to kill that Stalker, kill it good. I tell you what, these zealots could actually do some sort of freaky Protoss run by if WBC is not prepared, and at the moment it does not look like he is prepared at all. He does have some Stalkers coming out, however, which of course are very, very good at kiting zealots as well. So it does look like WBC will escape with his double gas tactic, with his double gas stealing tactic thoroughly in place and thoroughly getting him ahead in this game. Which you gotta say, that's honestly the first time I think I've ever seen that. This is really, really interesting as well. Denying your opponent any gas whatsoever and then kind of massing up Stalkers early. You'll note that WBC does not actually have a single zealot at all. So obviously he was just trying to kite his opponent's army about the map. Here we have WBC claiming a watchtower, making sure there's no absolute funny business going on, such as a pylon here for early warp, for proxy warp pins or anything like that. Something that is surprising me slightly is the shallow use of force fields by WBC. Maybe you'd think he'd use a few more force fields in order to contain those zealots slightly better. See just then where Grack was on the ramp, he could put a force field at the bottom, force field at the top, and have lots of zealots trapped in there, and they could get absolutely annihilated by this Stalker force. But it does look like these two sentries will be staying back here just for the lols at the moment. And obviously to guard the ramp as well. Now we do have real Phoenix out as well from WBC, which is again kind of an alternate play, but something I have noticed with Protoss recently is they are switching it up a little bit. The Colossus race is becoming a little bit more prominent, and some Protoss are opting to go for air, i.e. the Phoenix and the Void Ray, which is pretty cool actually. I honestly think the Protoss air units don't get used as much as they should do. I mean, Void Rays are very, very good units indeed, and they get utilised quite a lot against Zerg as well. But I mean, Grack now just finally managing to get his warp gate research finished, having to stick down a defensive cannon as well, just in case any funny business happens with WBC. But he is actually also managing to expand as well, so maybe the extra minerals that he got while his extractors weren't working or weren't even up, maybe they have actually helped him be able to afford this Nexus a little bit. Now we do have the Phoenix coming out here from WBC as well, and this can put Grack in a really, really dangerous position indeed, because he doesn't actually have that much anti-air at all. So we have WBC going through and killing quite a lot of his opponent's probes, but he does need to be careful of this turret, which I'm not sure he was expecting actually. And we do have the Phoenix kind of scouting around now, having a look about and killing another probe too, but they need to be careful of these sentries. More turrets going down in the mineral line, or at least more pylons that will support turrets, and one turret itself, that sentry going down as well. These Phoenix already doing quite a lot of damage, but unfortunately they don't quite have enough energy for the gravity being yet that will allow them to carry on harassing these probes. But it's definitely doing some damage, this attack, and it's definitely an attack that has to be kind of applauded actually. Whoa, what's going on here? Oh wow, we have a hidden base. Excellent. Throughout that whole thing I didn't actually see this. WBC seems to be playing very, very clever indeed. Hiding bases, denying his opponent's gas. I mean, usually when your opponent will nick 2 gases, again, which I've basically never seen before, so I can't really comment on it too thoroughly, that will kind of mean that you're kind of screwed if you don't have enough anti-air to deal with it. And now, luckily enough, Grack has managed to cobble together enough anti-air to sort of defend this Phoenix harassment that is happening, because unfortunately Phoenix cannot shoot down for WBC. But they are killing a lot of probes. Not bad harassment at all. But Grack does have his natural expansion up now, with what seems to be a kind of a lacking army from WBC at the moment. I just kind of feel at the moment that if Grack were to attack, he could do a lot of damage, but unfortunately, of course, these sentries are here preventing any sort of really major attack from happening. So we have another Phoenix coming out and joining the herd of Phoenix. I suppose a herd of Phoenix is appropriate. And more cannons going down as well. Flock of Phoenix, there we go, that's the better word, of course. It does look like the Stalker will get taken out pretty quickly as well. And they could perhaps go for the other Stalker too. Yep, which they are going to do. Ow, but feedback going down on those Phoenix. Unfortunately, it won't actually kill them, because the Phoenix themselves don't actually have enough energy to be killed by that. But then one thing they will have to watch out for is, in fact, the Archon, because I don't think that Phoenix can actually pick up massive units in their graviton beam, so I have to be very, very careful of that indeed, and maybe actually push one WBC into some sort of tech switch, which I can see happening probably soon. I mean, he is getting a Twilight Council up as well. That could be to secure his level 2 upgrades, because he has got level 1 on both of his upgrades right now, and we do have a robotics core facility even. I need to get that right one day. A robotics facility out now for WBC as well that's been making observers as well, so we could see a tech switch into, I don't know, maybe Colossus, something like that. but it needs to be seen yet. Meanwhile, back at Grack's base, we do have many cannons built up here. Unfortunately, only one pylon here, which does kind of leave him a little bit vulnerable. If that pylon does get taken down somehow, those Phoenix will be able to run amok again in the probe line of Grack. More gateways going down as well, which of course is really good, meaning that once you take your natural expansion, you can just support many more gateways at a time. And here is the flock of Phoenix looking about, they're going to have a look about. Yeah, there we go. They're having a look about. And doing quite a lot of damage to the probes, actually. And this is an attack that is kind of unusual at this stage in the game. I mean, 14 and a half minutes in, you wouldn't really expect to see kind of attacks with massed up Phoenix like this. But this is a very unusual game, of course. It did start with WBC taking both of his opponent's extractors, which is a really unusual kind of start to a game. To be honest, you barely ever see that. Oh, and this Archon travelled from all the way over the other side of the map just to do some damage to these Phoenix. Excellent. Okay, cool. We also have Blink on the way from WBC as well, so it looks like maybe he will be transitioning into some kind of Stalker play. Now, they're very lucky that this Archon... Oh, no, the Archon, if Grack is not... if WBC is not careful, this Archon will find this base, and I'm not sure if Archon versus Proton Cannon. Photon Cannon even. I'm not sure who will win in that one-on-one. But I'm sure we're probably about to find out. My money would be on Archon, but he is just walking around, unfortunately, doing a bit of scouting here for Grack, and it doesn't look like there'll actually be an engagement at all. Of course, the Archon is a pretty safe unit against WBC's composition at the moment, because obviously Phoenix cannot pick up Archons, you know, much like the way they can't pick up Ultralisks and the way they can't pick up Colossi. But anyway, we do have WBC knowing what Grack is doing here. He's going a Zealot Archon mix, which is a very damaging force in StarCraft 2. You have your Zealots, who are your melee fighters, and they will literally run at an enemy and kind of confine them into a space. If you get a group of Zealots behind some enemy units, that can be really bad news, because it prevents them from running away while doing substantial amounts of DPS. And also, of course, we have Archons as well, which are one of the best splash damage units in the game. And they're very tough as well, but you will notice they've only got 10 HP. Those shields are amazing. The psionic shields... Psionic units are some of the tankiest units in the game as well, just so you know. And of course, this Archon is pretty tanky. Oh, destroying the statue. He has beef with that statue. I think it was of a dog or something. Yeah. Man, not being happy with that statue, obviously. Okay, so we do have what looks like an engagement coming in here from Grack right now. Just going... Ooh, he needs to put the Zealots the right side of these Archons, I think. That would be a good thing, but it does look like maybe he's just going to go and hit his opponent's expansion. Maybe. This decision is yet to be made, putting down a proxy pylon as well for easy reinforcements as well. And I do actually like this composition quite nicely from Grack. It's a very solid composition, and a lot of probes are going to die here today. Unfortunately, this very poorly defended... Oh, this very poorly defended expansion, indeed, all gone down. Quite a lot of probes lost there from WBC, it has to be said. If you look at the probe count now, it's 56 probes to 37. But here we do have a Colossus on the way, attacking from WBC. Grack's whole army not actually there yet. And the Archon's doing some fairly good damage, but I'm not sure if it will be enough against this Colossus Stalker mix. We do have reinforcing Stalkers from behind from Grack, which is a really nice play indeed. These Archons do look like they'll be taking out quite a lot of stuff, especially that Colossus. I mean, Colossus don't actually do that much damage to Archons. This is a very nice attack indeed. I really like the way that Grack is reinforcing constantly, which is of course the best way to play Protoss. The splash damage here absolutely annihilating these Stalkers. They do not know what has hit them from these Archons, and I must say, really, Grack did reinforce quite a lot in that attack. That was a really interesting attack. It's nice to see armies with two very different compositions attack each other. And boom! Down goes the Colossus from the Zealots. Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, I really like seeing armies with different compositions like this attack each other. I just find it extremely interesting indeed. Now we have the Phoenix here, quite frankly being a massive pain in the arse from these Zealots as well. Oh, and if they're not careful, they will get taken out by these Archons too. So the Phoenix are going to have to be very careful indeed. They don't have much health on them left at all. Excellent. Okay, so we have Grack looking like he might actually be pulling back a little bit now. I mean, his damage has been done. He has destroyed an entire army from WBC. He's destroyed a lot of probes. And it does look like his army will get caught slightly out of position. Unfortunately for Grack, it's all split up. There's not a lot of reinforcing going on at the moment. We do have these 4 Archons joining the fight and doing extremely well for it as well. Unfortunately, the Colossus do outrange Archons substantially, so it is a kind of a macro game to keep the Colossus Stalker mix away from the Archon mix as well. But the amount of damage that the Archons do is actually just quite simply terrifying. They really do smash quite a lot of units. But it does look like Grack is now actually on the defensive a little bit, or will be on the defensive soon anyway, as quite a lot of his army just did get absolutely destroyed. And we have, strangely enough, WBC taking a 4th base, even though he could just resaturate this and maybe stick more cannons up on it. But I don't know, I suppose each to their own. That's absolutely fine. Whatever he wants to do, that's cool. And we also have, of course, Grack's 3rd base up and running like it has been for quite a while, actually. I mean, if you look at the income tab, you can see that Grack's income is just ridiculously better than WBC's. But here we go. He is actually resaturating his expansion right now. And, of course, we do have another one up here. So it does look like, actually look like the income tab will level out very shortly. Indeed. I mean, at one point their WBC was technically really only on 1 mining base, and now, of course, it has actually come up to above 1,000 for WBC as well. But, I mean, at that point he really needed to make something happen just before he managed to resaturate that base, because there was a lot of Grack's units in this area of the map, and it was a very dangerous time to try and resaturate anything, let alone the base that is on the other side of the map to you. So we do have WBC carrying on with his mix and getting some Archons as well to counter the other Archons of Grack. Indeed. As far as upgrades go, I mean, Grack has chosen his shields to upgrade rather than his armor. Ooh, and those Phoenix, oh, they almost eat it with a nice blink there from Grack as well. It does look like the Phoenix play will be kind of reserved for scouting now, I presume. But we do have a lot of Colossus moving out now for WBC, and it does look like Grack will be attacking his opponent's 4th base even again. And it does look like this will also get taken out quite nicely as well. This army does need to be very careful indeed, because of course these Stalkers can just escape by blinking down this cliff here. Grack needs to be very careful not to kind of accidentally... Yeah, see, this is the problem. He does get most of his army out with a shift blink though, which is of course very nice. It's where you hold down shift, get them to walk to the edge, and then whilst holding down shift, get them to blink down, and they'll all do it in a nice kind of row, and it looks cool, and it's very good for situations like that where you can get absolutely eaten alive if you're not careful. High level players like these can do it under pressure. It's not actually that difficult to do, but I mean, under pressure it can be really hard as well, and you have to have quite a bit of time to do it if you're not as fast as a professional level gamer, which many people aren't. Okay, now we do have a pretty sensible choice in unit here actually from WBC in the Immortal, the unit that can take a shed load of damage and shell out a shed load of damage. The only real disadvantage from Immortals is they're kind of slow. Grack going, oh god, the carnage! I'm not entirely sure what from. Oh, I think it's just his Nexus getting absolutely zapped. Grack is actually going to have to formulate a plan now to I can see him splitting his army out because he's not exactly sure where WBC is actually going to come through. These stalkers coming up here, they look like they're actually just going to be scouting a little bit, going, ouch, that is too hot for me, and jumping straight back with their blink move. It does look like WBC might actually just be pulling back now after destroying that Nexus, happy in his win. Either that or he doesn't want to get caught there. He doesn't want his army to get caught there, but it does look like he'll be pulling back right now. The Phoenix is also patrolling the map. Or the Phoenix. I don't think Phoenix has a plural. Maybe Phoenixes. I don't know. Excellent. And we do have WBC's army looking like they are looking ready for combat and trouble, as it were. They do look angry. And having another poke in here, I mean, at this point in time, WBC's army is actually very out of position. Very out of position indeed. It doesn't matter so much for the Stalkers, because they can just blink onto this high ground that the Colossus gives them vision of. But, I mean, it's very worthwhile to think that the Zealots and Immortals will be very out of position, like very out of position in that little hole there, and it will really give them nowhere to run, especially if some of these 4 Immortals or Archons block the Zealots in from behind. That will decrease the effectiveness of WBC's army pretty heavily, and it does look like we're going to have a pretty major engagement here right now. Ooh, the Meng statue absolutely eating it. Okay, and here we go. We do have the Stalkers blinking backwards to allow the Zealots to actually do their work and attack instead of just standing there and running around mindlessly behind the other Stalkers. I do believe that WBC should actually probably think about microing his Colossus a little bit. An ingenious move. Grack actually flanks the Colossus with these Zealots here, forcing them to move up onto the high ground and in effect actually trapping them. Excellent reinforcement placement from Grack right there. I really like that indeed. That was awesome. I'm actually going to write down the time of that attack there to see just exactly how cool that was. Excellent. Yeah, we will watch that after the game is over. Sweet. Right, so now we have WBC who, I don't know, seems to be in a relatively large amount of trouble at the moment. He doesn't actually have a 4th base at all. Grack has a fully functioning 4th base and a fully functioning large army moving towards WBC's army. Indeed. Grack's micro in that last battle was really nice. I really liked it. Where WBC might have lost quite a lot of his Colossus, I'm not sure. They didn't seem particularly well positioned. And then, of course, we had that ingenious flanking movement from Grack, which forced ONEwbc to move the Colossus. Actually inside Grack's base, where they just pretty much became Stalker food. And here we do have another attack from Grack right now, which I'm not sure if ONEwbc actually has enough to be able to hold this off that well or properly. We do again have some more kind of flanking Zealots coming in here from WBC as well, but this is very much a Stalker off at this point in time, with a big old clump of Archons doing quite a lot of damage. And there is a GG from WBC and a GG from Grack as well. Both players playing exceptionally well. Really nice play, really nice, really cool kind of opening from WBC, nicking both his opponent's gas geysers. As we can see, they've both been used up quite nicely. These Phoenix also being used quite a lot in this game too, for harassment purposes, stuff like that. Really cool play from WBC. Unfortunately, it just wasn't able to bring it home, unfortunately, today. Also, the Archon play I really liked as well. But, I mean, I think ONEwbc in that battle might have suffered quite a bit. Really. Oh, that's just after the battle. Right, where are we? Okay, I just want to watch it again because I actually want to see the Zealots being warped in behind the Colossus of WBC. The Colossus even of WBC. Because I really like that move from Grack. It really makes his opponent's heavier hitting units kind of a bit vulnerable. I like that quite a lot. So what we have, if I just turn the speed down, what we have here really is a nice blink back from WBC that shows really nice control, allowing his Stalkers to run his Zealots even to run forwards and do quite a lot of damage. And at this point in time, the Colossus are okay. They're fairly well positioned. but he will have to be careful because this Archon here, for example, is a little bit too close to comfort to that expensive unit. And there we did actually have the warp in from the back, if you guys saw it, that forces the Colossus to come up onto the high ground and absolutely get smashed. And then Grack blinking out, making sure to cut off his opponent's escape routes. And this Colossus being micro backwards by WBC, unfortunately it doesn't look like it would be able to save itself, and it can't. And that is a really, really well won battle by Grack. See, that's where he warped in his Zealots and he pushed the Colossus up onto the high ground. That's awesome. I really, really like that play indeed. Excellent, guys. All right. Well, I will be doing more casts today, so keep your eyes open. Well, maybe I'll be doing them today. They might be uploaded, you know, till later because that takes a bit of a while. But anyway, guys, have a nice day. I hope the sound was a little bit better for you this time, because the in-game sounds were too loud previously, and that is just the way I feel. And to be honest, some people who have been watching my videos feel too. Excellent. So, guys, thank you very much for watching again. Have a lovely day, and as always, enjoy playing StarCraft. Goodbye.